Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Warhammer Underworlds. This video is sponsored by Sumo Games. More on that later. The lore of Warhammer Underworlds. What exactly does everyone want with the ruinous Embergard? Deep beneath the surface of Ashby, warbands duke it out for precious emberstone and glory in the new edition of Warhammer Underworlds. The core set of the new edition takes its name from the ruined city of Embergard, which lies atop these tunnels and mines, but you might be wondering exactly why, in the aftermath of the realm-shattering vermindoom, this particular pile of rubble is so important. Thankfully, the Warhammer Design Studio has you covered, with an introduction to the city and why it's become such a focal point in the Hour of Ruin. Alright, so very cool. A little bit of backstory on the new Warhammer Underworld setting, Embergard.
Embergard was supposed to be a new hope, a gateway to the east of the Great Parch, and a cornerstone in the ever-expanding empire of Sigmar's people. Unfortunately, it was on the edge of the apocalypse as the ruinous powers of chaos tore the Parch asunder. Beneath the ruins of this once great city snakes a crumbling warren of mining tunnels. These are lit by the furious glow of Emberstone, the realm stone of Akshi, a prize sought by delving warbands that creep into the darkness to claim this treasure for themselves. The insidious Skaven are the most desperate for it, but they are opposed by Stormcast Eternals who stalk the darkness. Now, the mines beneath Embergard echo once more with the sound of brutal battle.
Warhammer Design Studio. Embergard was one of the two cities founded by the twin-tailed crusade during the Dawnbringers campaign series. Its banner was planted by the Ashbian half of the Grand Venture, but it wasn't exactly their plan when they set out. Disaster after disaster struck the crusade almost from its onset, and in the confusion, Pontifex Zenestra and her fanatical cult of the Wheel effectively took control. It was Zenestra's call, supposedly as a vision from Holy Sigmar, to divert the crusade's intended path towards the formerly ruined city and purge it from the undead lurking within. Whatever Zenestra's reasons actually were, it might have had something to do with the strange wheel-like carvings found across the ancient architecture. Her decision proved astute. Within the Ashenmount mountain on which the city stood, staggeringly immense veins of emberstone were discovered. The magical realmstone of Ashby doesn't just provide a potent infusion of aggression that any warrior could benefit from at the teeny-tiny cost of occasionally going rage-crazy. It's also highly combustible, and an essential fuel source for some of the Ironweld arsenal's most impressive technology. Understanding that they had an extremely lucrative trading resource on their hand, the secular masters of Embergard had the city fortified at double time, and the mines quickly carved deep into Ashenmount's guts. Rumors of other things lurking down in the dark were pushed aside. After all, Zenestra had cleared out the necromancers and nighthound they had found there, right? Unfortunately, even before the twin-tailed crusade had left Hammerhall, there was a prophecy going around that one city founded in the campaign would stand, and one would fall. Embergard, alas, drew the short straw, by which we mean was caught at the very edge of the vermindoom's apocalyptic realm-warping blast. Suffice to say that the property bubble burst pretty sharpish. Alright, so pretty cool, definitely tying all of this in with like the vermindoom and Skaventide and all of the coming for the new Age of Sigmar. Nice little bit of lore here, and then some cool illustrations to go along with it. That then is where we find Embergard at the start of the new edition of both Warhammer Age of Sigmar and Warhammer Underworlds. A bright hope for the future blasted into ruin, where haggard survivors crawl through a damned city. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. Amongst the ashes. The thing is, though, while Embergard as an urban stronghold might have been virtually annihilated, and nobody quite sure what happened to Zenestra, its ruin still holds immense strategic importance to the Hour of Ruin. Firstly, it's positioned right at the tail end of the Adamantian chain, the mountains that are currently forming a natural firebreak against the Skaven invading from the Gnaw. The rabid Great Grand Gnaw horde of Vizig Scour is hurling itself at these rocky ramparts every day, and if they can break through anywhere, they'll be able to spill right into the vulnerable interior of the Great Parch. Secondly, and maybe more importantly, Embergard's mines are still reachable, with all their veins of untapped emberstone. The engineers of Sigmar's empire need these magical resources more than ever if they're going to resist the Skaven menace, while desperate soldiers looking for an edge seek out any fragment of the stuff. So while Embergard will likely never be rebuilt, it can't just be abandoned. Crack Free Guild shock troops and Stormcast veterans have been stationed above ground, rebuilding the defenses as best they can, while the tunnels below roving bands of Stormcast from the Vanguard chambers, the Emberwatch amongst them, make sure that the mines remain accessible to sanctioned excavation teams and protected from any too eager parties of scavengers, including less officially permitted Sigmarites who are greedy for the dangerous arcane substance. There certainly are enemies aplenty lurking in the winding mineshafts of the Ashen Mount, and surprising to no one, the Skaven rank first and foremost amongst them. The perfidious Ratmen would very much like to collapse Embergard entirely and use its leveled wreckage as their gateway into the Parch. Whether by crushing it under the weight of their swarms, gnawing through the tunnels beneath the city streets, or sending shadow-clad agents to work sinister plots in the shadows. But the techno-arcane warlocks of the Clan Scryer also crave getting their nasty little paws on the Emberstone. What exactly are they going to do with it? We both know the answer to this. Nothing good. Unless you're a Scryer player, in which case the answer is, what aren't we going to do with it? Embergard is set to be a key battleground in the ongoing struggle of Ashri. A victory here, even just one significant haul of Emberstone being acquired by either side, could shift the balance of power in the Great Parch, which with the upcoming release of Warhammer Underworlds, Embergard happens to be where you come in. So you can get involved with pre-ordering the core set for the new edition of Warhammer Underworlds on Saturday. The Skaven and Stormcast Eternals aren't the only factions fighting over the ruined city. Vengeful Seraphon and minions of Grandfather Nurgle also have plans for the place, and even more warbands are due to plunder the place in coming months. Alright, so very cool. Definitely a nice little bit of lore, tying it all together with the twin-tailed crusade and sort of like all of the setup that Games Workshop put in place, leading up to the Vermin Doom and everything for Age of Sigmar. Also tying it together with Warhammer Underworlds and the great struggle taking place in the New World. So very, very cool. Definitely excited for this new edition of Warhammer Underworlds. Really happy with how Games Workshop has kind of taken a turn and bringing back a lot of the old warbands, so people can get a hold of like these awesome models that have been long since out of print. Also making it so that people can actually use them in the game as well. So very, very cool. We also have some new warbands that are going to be popping up. And most importantly, it's very clear that Games Workshop is going to continue supporting Underworlds. Should see a lot of cool new content coming forward. A lot of value in the new box sets with 4 warbands per box. Substantially cheaper than when they were sold individually. And really looking forward to what Underworlds brings to the tabletop and then also to the setting. So let me know what you think of the setup, the backstory, all of the art and animations, also what you're excited for, what warband you're hoping for. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And I think so far the new edition of Warhammer Underworlds and everything coming looks pretty good. And I'm out of here.